right, where is it?
Cheers, everybody, and welcome to episode 264 of the Michigan Bros Grow Show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Ho, ho, ho. How are you guys doing tonight?
Awesome. Merry Christmas. Ready to
Doing
get
good.
this party started.
This is not going to last very long. I do have a backup hat and a backup shirt because I am in my Christmas sweater again, of course.
Oh, man.
Let's see yours, that tree. I love the Merry Sithmas. It's
In with the Sith Lord over there. Darth Vader himself.
I went on theme. I went red, but
at least you're themed out.
I want LED.
We got the branded guy over here, Russ. How's everybody's weekend been? How about another Lions win? Take that.
Is that a record? Was it 13? Win 13?
Yeah, that's the most we've ever had in one season, I guess, for the Lions. 13 wins. The Eagles lost today, which is good because they're also in the NFC, so they're 12-3 now. But the Vikings also won today, so we play them for our final game of the season. So it'll be interesting. Both 13-2, 13, whatever.
That'd make a good game, man.
Yeah, it should. It should. I know we're already in the playoffs, but yeah, I'm gonna pop open one of these droids here. I finally made some more Terp carts. I know it's not everyone's favorite thing, but why not?
Yeah. The Bengals beat my Browns today.
Cart? What the hell's the world come to?
You're just jealous.
I'm not jealous. I'm gonna grab some actual dabs out of a fucking dab container.
Hold on. Actual dabs. What do you mean? This is literally just the live resin high terpene portion of the actual dabs.
What? Say that? Say it again. Is that what version?
It's just the live resin terpene fraction. So it's the high terpene extract.
So you
crashed out some of those cannabinoids, reduced them down so we can keep it more viscous to fit in the pen and not crash out in the pen. That way we get a bunch of diamonds in there. That's not good.
Yeah, the diamonds would be rough.
Yeah, I don't think you can vaporize those too well off of a.
But that would make me like them. That would make me like pens more probably because I'd feel it for sure.
You'd be cracking them open, pouring them on your dab rig probably. I actually know someone that has taken these the caps off of these and refilled them. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I know they're not meant to be
off of those and dabbed out of them.
Yeah, there you go. So I know they're not meant to be. It's technically a disposable, but it's rechargeable. You know what I mean? So it's like if you can refill it and it still works, why not?
It'd be better if we had less disposable. I think honestly.
I agree. I'm not the hugest fan of
current system. I'm not really sure how you do it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you'd either have to do some sort of recycling system, which I don't know how people feel about recycling vapes and stuff, but at least have them refillable and then or sell like a cartridge or something. You know, I know they have obviously batteries that they sell that you can reuse, and then they just sell the cartridges versus the whole thing being disposable. But I don't know. I'm curious to see where that market goes because, I mean, between pre-rolls and flower, like outside of those two, which are pretty obvious, vape carts are the biggest seller, you know, so.
I think it's convenience. It's like the not dab, but the concentrate version or whatever of the pre-roll, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot less smelly, if we're honest. We're not combusting it. We're not burning something, so it's not the smell's not gonna stick around. You can get it's a lot more discreet for sure. It's just it does feel like it's missing something sometimes. Look at that.
Sean. Look how well there's not much left. I've been dabbing the fuck out of it.
Oops.
Our sour D-Bet cross from Trichome Forge came back this weekend, and it came back so light colored. I was impressed. I was kind of shocked at first. I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?"
What causes the color to be lighter in like that one versus your other ones?
Well, I think the post processing probably had the most to it because we didn't do much different other than. Unless it was trichome maturity, but we felt like we harvested it when we normally would.
The next day, though, one of them the next day really darkened up, or maybe it was a few days.
Did it get really cold?
Yeah.
What's that?
Did it get really cold outside at the same time?
Get cold outside when that?
But she said it darkened up. I mean, I know it's inside and all that, but I'm just saying it's a possibility that
Oh, it's possible. We try to keep it all cold to begin with, though, and
Okay.
and then when
Just pull out what we're hitting for that night or the next day or two.
like we'll have a baller jar, but that's in the fridge. It always stays in the fridge. But then
Oh,
take out.
I
of
thought
that.
you meant the plant darkened up.
No,
Like,
I'm talking about the actual concentrate.
oh,
Yeah, what we had
Huh.
pulled out was light, and then I think it was just that overnight to the next day when we went to open it, it had like darkened up enough to be noticeable.
so that right there is, I think, one of the reasons people, one of the few reasons I should say that few people don't like fresh frozen, because I think there is something to, and I'm not sure how you guys stored it, or if you left it out overnight, what temperature it was at, if the jar was open, all that kind of stuff that can affect it. But there's certainly can be some maturation, I guess you could call it, of your fresh frozen extracts. One, when left at like room temperature, especially over a longer period of time. I'm kind of surprised it did that overnight, but I mean, it's certainly possible.
It doesn't bother me at all. It didn't change.
Yeah, it
the
didn't
experience
change
at
the
all.
flavor. I could smell it just fine, and it smelled exactly like what I thought it was, and that's why it was just like significant enough of a short enough time to be like, whoa, it caught my eye.
Yeah. Now, when you like dug into it, was did the whole thing change, or was it just like
Consistency
the
was
outer-
fine and everything. Yeah.
No, he's saying the whole color. Like when you dug into it, was it
Oh.
lighter inside? Or
No.
was it just the outside?
No, I don't think it was lighter inside. There wasn't too much left in the jar anyway.
Okay.
So if it was oxidized, then it really could have hit what was in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I was wondering if it was just like a layer thing or what, that's interesting. I don't know if
I'm more
noticed
I'm
color
more of
change
a
like that.
consistency guy. Like I don't give a fuck what the color of it is. I want,
Right.
I want the obviously I want the effect and the flavor is bonus if it tastes good. But I also like the consistency, just makes it easier to deal with, right? So like the dry stuff, I fucking can't. That's my pet peeve. I hate it when it dries, when it gets dry. And
Kind of like crumbly, hard to work with.
crumbly and hard. Yeah, like you can just like dump it into your banger and hope it doesn't spill off your dab tool. Whereas if you have like a batter consistency, it's staying on your dab tool until you put it in.
Yeah. Well, unless it's too wet, then it starts sliding off.
True. Yeah, I don't want like straight terps because that's
Yeah,
the
you
deal with it.
start talking to someone with it in your hand, and all of a sudden you look over and it's like, well, where did my dab go? It's on the floor or in your keyboard or something.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna have to take this off. I'm already sweating under this thing. In a
You
second.
should. That's not.
Nuttree, how you doing, man? How you been?
We were brave enough to.
Pretty
start.
good, pretty good. Things are going all right. Smoking me some motherfucking Jones right now.
Nice. It looks like you got white ash on that too.
Yeah, it's got some white ash on it.
It's good, man.
Heck yeah. Tara will be off work a little later, joining us hopefully.
How you feel about concentrate? You like your concentrates fresh frozen? Or you don't care?
It doesn't matter, I guess. I like both, but the consistency, I guess, to be able to stay on the dab tool and not fall off the dab tool is important. And then like a waxy type of where you can almost carve it out, or like
I like to carve little pieces off of it. It's just like carve it off and let it just stand there, and it keeps its shape in the jar.
Yeah, he like cuts it away and makes like a square in the center of it.
then you know who's been in your shit too. You can see like oh yeah. I think Tara does the same thing. So
I don't know. It's just fun for me to just cut the edges off, keep it nice and square.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna mute here and do a dab. I got one loaded up.
That's called OCD, I think.
Yeah, maybe it is.
OCD. Yeah. That's a neat Santa hat there. The gray color, like charcoal, like you've been through the fireplace or something.
Yeah, I think it's just a little different style, a little flannel.
Just different
action
color.
here.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
I think this was one of those. Mom bought us all pajamas and a Santa hat one year and expected us all to wear it. And well, me being a little bit of a nonconformist, anti-authoritarian asshole, who wants to comply? I got asked if I could do a dab through that beard. Well, if I could do a dab through this beard, I feel like I could do a dab through that beard, but I didn't. I was actually a little nervous about it. So that's why I stuck to the vape pen, if I'm honest with you, because get anything too hot around these fuzzy things. We know how that goes, right? Beard on fire over there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was ready on that mic. You see that?
I already knew where this was going.
Yeah, he knew.
I felt that one creeping up.
A beard like that one is on plastic though, so you'd probably like light it and melt it and think it's
Polyester,
dab
like
dropping onto you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, have some holes in my shorts probably. Yes. Anybody got any big Christmas or New Year's plans this year, guys? Anything out of the ordinary? Any weird dishes you're making or places you're
I
going?
think we're gonna do
People you're
pizza.
seeing.
We're gonna do homemade pizza.
We're going to
for
Mama
dinner.
Sport.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, Christmas Eve we're doing that, and then Christmas Day. I was throwing around the idea with my boys today. I think we'll do homemade pizzas.
That's a good idea. I think we're
Yeah.
doing lasagna this year. Hey.
Love it.
That's what my mom's making: lasagna and meatball minestrone soup.
Nice.
probably go up for Chinese or something.
Hell yeah. I did that one time and it's like I've never seen a Chinese restaurant so busy, bro.
So busy. Oh yeah. No, when I
It's
was
like-
in Cincinnati last year, they sent me to go pick it up or whatever, and it was like, holy crap! It was waiting there forever.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think we did it on
big.
Christmas Eve. I don't think it was actually on Christmas Day, but they told us this is like one of their 3 biggest days of the year because I sat there at a table, just it was 30 people in the restaurant, no one's sitting down eating. Everyone's waiting for carryouts,
Yeah,
It's back to the gills.
crazy.
I love Chinese.
The only
food. I
few.
love
It's one of the only few places that's actually open on
Yeah,
Christmas
exactly.
Day, too. So
I like some American Chinese food. I don't know about authentic Chinese food. I don't know if I've had any of that.
But yeah, I mean, I've had authentic Thai food, but honestly, the American Thai I found was more spicy than the actual Thai food.
Like I like Panda Express. That shit. The sweet
Fuck
part.
yeah, dude!
Yeah.
Orange chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going half and half, or you going noodles? You going rice? You going half and half?
No, dude. I go fucking fried rice all.
Okay.
And then I go 2 orders of sweet fire chicken.
Okay.
If I'm feeling frosty or something, I want to switch it up a little bit. I might go 1 order of sweet fire chicken and 1 order of the teriyaki chicken.
Okay. You want to hear my
see,
order?
Double
Yeah.
orange, chow mein, and brown rice.
Yeah, she's got to split it up. She gets half chopped
Yeah.
rice and half.
Dude, it's the way to go. I go half and half with orange rice, but I don't do double orange rice. I actually go orange chicken rather. So half and half orange chicken, and then I actually for my second entree, I get 2 of the spring rolls or whatever. With the
I
sweet
can
and sour
I
sauce.
can always do a spring roll. No matter what Chinese restaurant you're at, I can always do a spring roll.
You gotta
Yeah.
try it,
I could smash one, and it's like I didn't need anything though. It's like I need like 10 spring rolls.
Who is this? We got a special guest joining us for this beautiful Christmas
That's
episode.
good.
Oh, hey
Luna.
Luna, welcome to the show. Lucas,
Tell me,
how
what
are
does
you
that
doing?
mean to
dear?
you?
Good, thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
I love the tree and the
Yes.
gifts already wrapped. I see
Yeah,
a,
that's
a,
Well,
a roll
not
of wrapping
completely.
paper.
Let's see,
Someone's
the
been
wrapping
busy.
paper's still out.
Is
Yeah.
there some scissors and tape all over the place as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Have you met me?
When I go to
was thinking
Panda-
talk about. Go ahead, honey.
I was just gonna say, when I go to Panda Express, I got to go inside and not go through the drive-through to make sure I find out what the freshest thing is, and I
Oh.
usually get the fried rice too.
I didn't know the drive-through pandas were a thing because where I'm at from Illinois, we had regular panda. You
Drive-through
walk in,
pandas?
okay,
That's not regular
we've
panda.
never had a drive-through.
Regular.
He's over here like,
Regular.
oh, I'm in the drive-through at Panda. I'm like, the fuck.
I'm glad you get to
Well,
decide what's regular.
Like no. That's not how we do it up here in Michigan. Fuck that.
Feel fancy as
Yeah.
hell. Well, nobody wants to get out in this damn.
No, it's
weather.
cold.
I
It's
understand.
fucking
do
cold,
it
all right?
in
Get out of
Michigan.
your car, you're gonna fight, or there's an emergency or something. There's no reason to get out of the car.
I do this. I don't do the same thing, but I do a similar thing, not tree, and it's completely different, but also tangentially the same, I guess. I always go into the bank. I rarely go through the drive-through the bank
Fuck
because I think it's really important to have, well, in my experience, I should say, it's really important to have a relationship with your banker because they can save you just by, I don't know, feeling like they want to save you that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can just ignore your banker. Then if you have any issues, you go in there. That's when you go in there and you go in person. You're like, look, I'm an unhappy customer. You need to fucking fix it. And boom, they fix it.
That's another way to
Sometimes.
approach it.
I guess the only reason I bank with who I bank with now is because my sister worked there and she doesn't work there anymore. So I would probably leave if I had to. You know, that was the only reason I
They're by
started.
default now.
Yeah.
So Blue Kiss, what's up? How you doing? Where you been?
I was sitting here laughing as I was trying to load up this dab because it is from Trichome Forge. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, the pop.
And it was real crummy because it's the last of it. And it was just real crummy as I'm sitting there scraping it into my thing. I'm going, hey,
Isn't that
Ross.
annoying? I fucking hate that.
It is annoying, but you know, it was my own doing, and I'll just fucking have to live with it. That's how that goes.
Oh yeah, I still smoke it. I just bitch about it, but I still smoke
Yeah.
it. I don't
Oh,
want
yeah.
to go away.
Yeah, thank God it's the Dr. Dabber, so I can just push it into the chamber and
Oh, there you go.
yeah. But I do agree with you that it's a sad thing when it goes to crumb. I like it more cheesecakey and not overly moist, not overly dry. Just
That's a great analogy. I've never actually heard anybody use cheesecake. I've heard a lot of cake batters and things like that.
yeah.
But cheesecake, I'm not a huge fan of cheesecake, but I definitely am familiar with the texture.
consistency.
Yeah.
The texture is like that.
There we go.
Yay!
What's
Dude,
up,
every
lovebirds?
picture that
Merry
Bubble Man
Christmas.
posts, I think looks like
Lovebirds.
brown sugar.
What's up, guys? Cheers, Lucas.
Hey, Red.
What's up, Red?
Hey, Red. Hey, Becca.
Hello,
Hey,
hello, hello.
hey.
I'm
I
like,
didn't
what
think
is
my
it? I
one
missed
green
that.
shirt. Uh-oh. I'm showing up, though. That's strange.
Are we upgrading Daddy Red to Grandpa Red?
I just love Tara's picture there.
yeah.
Neptune and Tara.
Yeah, dude. It's Granddaddy Red.
Granddaddy Red. I like
Gotta
that.
change it to Granddaddy.
Granddaddy Red.
Granddaddy Red.
Granddaddy Red sounds a lot like Granddaddy Perp, doesn't it?
It works.
That's
perfect.
funny.
I love it.
That's funny.
Speaking of Granddaddy
I didn't
Perp,
think
check
about
out
that.
all these Granddaddy. Oh, you can't see them, of course.
Uh-oh.
Where did I go?
There he goes.
What is happening here? All right.
The green shirt.
Too much
Oh,
green
it
over
was,
there.
It was poor planning on Red's part.
The AI is working against you, Red.
We have things. Can't
We
show
have
the
things.
Can't show the YouTube algorithm.
Emily, what were you saying? Something about a post on Bubble Man or something?
Oh, I just think that a lot of his posts, like when he posted the hash, that it looks like brown sugar.
It was dry sift a lot of times.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
And God, I can't wait to. I still have yet. I mean, I've known Bubble Man for I don't know a year now, and we've definitely gone on some sweet adventures. But I haven't smoked any of his. I haven't gone to Canada and smoked any of his.
That's
his-
obviously more
his
hash.
hash that he's processed than I want to. But you can get it. There's Marcus right there. You can get it though in Michigan. Big Jar got some of his. The Bubble Man brand is in Michigan now. Papa Sift, if you follow him on Instagram, he's the processor that is working with the Bubble Man brand here in Michigan. And so you can see Marcus trained him, and they're using the equipment that he's working with too, the big commercial equipment from Whistler Tech. And yeah, there's the Bubble Man stuff, dry sift.
Static.
We should get Papa Sift on here and maybe talk to him, or you should get him
we
on. Actually, even better, get him on your show for really. I mean,
Whoa, look at that. I think Tim and I might have some things in common.
yeah, he's also a big fan of the.
Let's do it live.
I always remember those old Bubble Man and Great Gardener. He would like go visit the Great Gardener warehouse, and they'd always have those tumblers with the dry sift. Man, it always had me. I've always done
Yeah.
dry sift. I love it, dude. I do water hash here and there, but man, I do love some dry sift, man. Shout out to you, Spartan, for your presence on Hash Church today. I don't know if you guys mentioned that, but
Oh, I did not catch that.
yes,
Oh, thanks,
I turned on Hash Church today, and I'm like, I know that beard. Holy shit, Spartan on Hash Church. So
Oh, by the way, yes, your beard is looking nice and full. But
Thank you. It's wintertime, so it's puffed out like a cat, you know.
Serving its biological purpose.
Yeah. No, it was super cool because it's usually difficult for me to catch even Hash Church because for one, the shout out to Smart and Crispy Wannabe, Smart Poker and Crispy Wannabe, they have a show at noon at the same time on Sunday, and I usually watch those guys, and but I'm usually doing things, right? I'm usually in the garden or whatever. It's my catch up time. It's like the only time before these shows and stuff, but I'm also not working, so I have like a little bit of time. So maybe it's hanging out with Emily or whatever, but usually not streaming because I'm going to stream for 4 more hours that night anyway.
Yeah.
But I happened to flip on Bubble Man today, and I don't know. I just hadn't seen him for a bit, and it was cool to watch him. And they started getting to a pretty good conversation, and I had reached out in chat and just said, hi and Merry Christmas to him and stuff. And next thing I know, my WhatsApp is going off, and with a like, I'm going on Hash Church like this. Let's go. So I jumped on, and we had a cool conversation. It was a cool show. At least, I mean, it went on well beyond the time I jumped off, but I think I was on for like 2 hours.
Spartan
Yeah.
marathon YouTubing live stream.
Yeah. Well, the last I
He's
saw
a
him was
madman.
Saturday night on GML, and I got to say that was an exceptionally good GML show.
Thank
I enjoyed
you.
hearing about you. I enjoyed hearing about the trip to Las Vegas, and also at the end when you were talking about the RSO, and you gave up more information in that last 5 to 10 minutes for cancer patients as far as what's going on in that department. Then it's those gems are gems is all I can say.
Thank you. And
Just getting it out there.
From learning from experience too, right? Like
Yeah.
Helping as many people as possible and then getting feedback and seeing what does work. And unfortunately, GML's got multiple people now in his family that are suffering. And so he's more interested in RSO and that kind of thing so he can help make the medicine for his family because he doesn't trust, and rightly so. If you have the ability to grow and you can guarantee that the medicine is clean and perfect, why wouldn't you do it? And so
Exactly.
it's fresh on our minds because of that. So yeah, it was pretty cool to be able to talk about that. That's obviously a passion of mine.
Well, I appreciated it. I wanted you to know that. Give you the direct feedback on it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You guys were talking earlier about what we're going to be doing for our Christmas dinners. I had a direct request to make galumkis, which are pigs in the blanket, or cabbage rolls, depending on where your affinity lies for meat in the middle wrapped in cabbage and then stuff on top. Polish is glumki, and
I've always known glumkis as cabbage rolls.
yeah. Some people think pigs in the blanket are hot dogs wrapped in
Yep,
biscuit.
that's me. I know what a glumki is, but picking a blanket is something different.
Yeah.
Pig in a blanket is a hot dog and crust and
And
rice.
bread.
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah, those are all the two different ways for me.
Yeah, my son-in-law from South Carolina, coming up into our culture, Polish Northerners. That's one of the dishes that he just cheeses on, and his wife does not make it, but I do sometimes.
What? And that you better light a fire under. How's she gonna let that die? Come on, you're gonna let the galumki
I'm still around. I mean, I'm vital. I should be good for a few more years.
I
right?
know, but she better learn how to make that damn thing as good as you. That's gonna take some time. It ain't gonna happen overnight. God damn it.
My family's not even Polish, and that's like my mom's dish. She makes stuffed cabbage all the time.
Yeah,
Stuff
it's
fire, man.
technically
just
takes a little bit of time, but it.
Pretty much
For the
funky.
first time a few weeks ago, and it turned out well, but I hated rolling the cabbage.
Yeah, that's it. You got to roll up the cabbage like little burritos.
Yeah, that was my first time ever doing it. I got like 4 in, or I got like 2 actually, and then I pieced together the other 2, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna chop it and make it that way.
I know you gave up. The secret to that, the secret to it is you got to take where the hardest part of the spine is. You got to cut that out into a little V there, so
Okay.
that you're not trying to roll that hard spine into your cabbage roll, because that's what's
Okay.
helping you out.
Okay.
Well, that'll just crack, right, when you try to roll it.
Oh yeah, it's just it's and or they'll puff up
Well,
and
yeah,
not
I
lay
was trying
down
to. I was
correctly.
using that as like where I put it, and using that to try to roll into it. But then it
You're
was like,
thinking lettuce wraps, Emily. That's a
Yeah.
little different.
I've never made them before. It was my first time, so it turned out good. I mean, everybody ate it.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're basically the simplest of dishes. Is just the combination of everything together.
Hold on,
And
hold on. You're telling me Polish dishes are simple?
that particular one is.
I say, for girl, what are you trying to say?
Listen,
just
I've
come
had
out
my
and say it.
fair share of Polish dishes. They don't seem to be too complicated. I think it has something to do with the culture of the whole situation. Listen, they're not the only one.
Pierogies can throw a
Maybe
curve to you.
chemistry.
I'll
Oh
say
yeah,
that.
listen, I'm not making pierogies. Okay, I'm not. Listen, they're not simple for
I
me.
love pierogies. Feel free to make me pierogies. Anybody out there?
All right, now how can we be this far into the show and you haven't mentioned that you just won a pretty decent contest here in Michigan? Damn it, the Sun Grown.
Oh,
Third
thank you.
place
Thank
with
you,
Apple
thank you.
Snacks.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
apple
Really cool.
snacks from
Congrats.
AB Seeds.
Really awesome.
Thank you.
I was really happy.
So tell me
Of all
about
the
this plant.
competitions-
Tell me about how this plant grew. Tell me what you had.
Oh,
to
this
do.
plant, Patrick at AB Seeds did me good with that packet of seeds. It was the best
Shout out to
growing
Patrick,
plant
he's a
in
cool
my garden.
motherfucker, man. Patrick is
Yeah.
a badass.
Yeah, those when it started topping out, they were just chonky, and the plant was strong and stiff. I never trellis anything. I don't top my plants either. And it just naturally made a nice little bush. And
Do you guys
Oh,
need
yeah,
proof?
cool.
Do you guys
That's
need proof she doesn't trellis her top?
I don't trellis anything. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's my Jack of the
Her dog.
Beanstalk
I've
plant.
been there. I don't need the proof. I've seen it with my own eyes.
I did at one time trellis my entire garden, and it was just like it was horrible. I had to crawl underneath it, and then I had some that I
You
couldn't
learn
get
once
to
you
the
go
top.
outside, you kind of learn some stuff. It's like try it and then see what it's like, and then you realize if you want to do that shit or not. Look at that.
Yeah, that was before I took off at 70s bush and I made it sweet.
So what were the terps like on that one?
That it was truly appley, and which surprised the hell out of me because a lot of times apple is kind of a hard one to. It's like bananas; it sometimes just doesn't come through correctly.
Yeah.
Was it
That
like a
one did
candy
have an
apple?
No, a straight apple, just a crisp apple.
Like a Honey Crisp
Crispy.
apple.
Do you still
Yeah.
have more of this
Okay.
flour?
No, I'm smoking it now.
And it's gone.
I was gonna say I'll come join you. I'll come smoke that.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last of it right there. She's got 2 more bowls. No, she's
Oh,
not-
got
oh,
it. Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
All right, I'll
boy.
hit you up.
Enough
I'll
to
come
share.
smoke some of that.
I share. No, we'll be together again. I'll bring it with. I had choices. One thing I will say about the contest this year for the Sun Grown, he had several very unique categories for what you could enter in, which I really appreciated. That he had, of course, the fan favorite, but he had fan favorite rosin as well, which that's what we judged on. But then you have the best sun grown flower, best cherry flower.
Like cherry
And-
terps.
Cherry. Well, the first place was from Jolly Pond Farm, which was Trop Cherry.
Oh,
Second place was Back Porch Cherry, and third place was Cherry Lime Twist.
ooh.
so,
cherry
yeah,
lime twist
That sounds
good as fuck.
delicious.
Yeah, there's some competition out there. Jolly Pond Farms kind of dominated.
They took a
across
handful
couple-
home, didn't they?
They dominated across a couple categories.
I
They
won
did
the
first and
Canvas Cup with
second
a
best
cherry lime
greenhouse
haze.
flower.
I miss those terps.
Yeah,
I'm a big
Jolly
fan of
Pond
cherry
got
limeade
the,
from Sonic. They need to open a Sonic in Jackson. I want some cherry limeade.
I think I remember you guys talking about that before.
Yeah,
That
I
being
love
a
that
thing
stuff,
for
man.
you.
When I lived in Texas, I got hooked on that stuff.
This year they also did the best greenhouse flower, which I appreciate for because we were supposed to be sun grown organic. It was the first couple of years, but he's opened it up. Of course, I did the best Michigan bred flower. But we also had best sun-grown full melt and best sun-grown Michigan red rosin.
Damn,
And
I
also
wanted,
the best
I wanted to
sun-grown
get, I
cherry
gotta
rosin.
get with, what's his, is it Chris? Chris over there at,
Chris from
Yeah,
Country
I
Roots,
think with him
yes.
and say, I always usually turn down the judging stuff, but maybe I can judge the concentrate section of that.
Yeah, do not,
I do that.
definitely, I would definitely recommend doing it.
Yeah.
I do feel like, and there's some
People
names
can
out
be talking
here.
about.
Well,
And,
hold on.
I mean, they brought it.
Russ, how often do you get offered that, and why do you turn it down?
I get offered fairly often. The last one that I turned down was for the Gems and Genetics wanted me to do it, and I turned it down because I think competitions are kind of for one, competitions I think are a little bit silly because it's somebody else's opinion, which I hate. I wish it was more. I guess the competition that had a lot of judges is cooler because that's a lot more opinions going into
What
the
if
mix.
the judges are the participants of the contest?
That's a different one. Like that Legends of that's a great point. The Legends of Hashish I love the most because my problem is with the judges. That's my problem with competitions. Is because a lot of times they'll bring in like celebrities or just people who are just
Shouldn't be judging.
not connoisseur smokers, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah, I see a lot of that too. I'll say it. Fuck
But-
it.
yeah, exactly. So it's like,
My
But-
only gripe is
but I did see Legends of Hashish. The way they did it was everybody who participated, they called them the hash makers, obviously in this competition. Were also the judges. So the day of the event, they sat in a separate room. And they started on entry number 1. Everybody smoked it, graded it, filled out the fucking cards, said what they thought about it. Next one. And then once they got about 5 in or 6 in, they took the first 5, brought them out on a platter to the people, everybody else who it was a private party event that you had to buy tickets to, but no one bought
Yeah,
it.
which that's how most things happen.
Yeah,
Truly.
but it was a fancy ass fucking dinner. So you're sitting there eating this fancy ass dinner while they're starting the judging. They brought about 5 out at a time, as they had already judged them, and you could go up and get you a dab. You bring your dabber up there, and they'll you hand it to them. They give you a dab, and you walk back to your device, whatever your device of choice is. It could be a
Excuse
dab
me.
rig, whatever the hell.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
More tabs, please.
You got to
Perhaps for the poor.
you got to try every one for yourself to see if you agreed with the judges. But the judges were the people who fucking put them in. So the hash makers, the people who knew what it took to create the product, were the ones who were the judges, which I think is the best fucking model I've ever seen.
But at the same time, I think that if I had a perfect thing to participate and judge in,
Yeah.
I would want time before the competition to get my insight and input in. I would want time with each of those concentrates.
That's
not
the problem.
day
That's
of.
the only
It's
problem. that you got.
logistically though,
That
it's almost
competition is
impossible.
not judging effect.
Yeah.
That judge is, you're judging everything else. You're judging like the look. You're judging the melt,
Flavor,
Well,
smell.
the taste.
And that's the part. That's why I
yeah.
wouldn't
But if-
probably do a competition though, is because that part doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
they collected the flour beforehand, but they did the concentrates for the sun grown the night before on Friday night is when they did the judging on that. They did a direct judging and then fan favorites on Saturday.
What I end up seeing is like most competitions, like sun grown's totally different. A lot of them are really different. I've seen a lot of them where they'll offer free entry for, I don't know, people who are like vendors, for example. You get free entry, or like whatever VIP payment, you get a free entry or something like that, or it's cheaper for additionals. But what I do see most of, like the 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 is like they kind of double dip, where they like sell judge kits or sell, where it's just like it's kind of just like anybody can be a judge, regardless of their likes or dislikes, or
That's what fan favorites are for.
standards for that example. And so they double dip, where they charge a lot per entry for somebody, and then they also charge for, and I mean
Judging.
also
Judging.
it is what it is. It's their moneymaker, but that's what it is. It's a moneymaker. Is in my eyes, I'm seeing that. I'm not seeing an actual community building type of event that's doing it for the camaraderie of it or whatever. Doing
I know you're talking about
stuff out, but
I know you're talking about High Times, and that's certainly the way they do it nowadays.
and a lot of them do it like that.
I'm sure there are. I'm most
like
familiar with High Times
big
and the
one,
fact that since
the
the
big
license
one-
industry has come about, they've had to basically sell those packs through dispensaries and
big
all
one in
that.
early April.
I'm curious to know what
specific ones, but the big one in early April does it. A lot of them do.
I'm curious to know what Abolished Farmers says.
Are doing it like that.
Actually, I'd be surprised if it's that many, but I don't know. I'm not involved in too many competitions, I guess.
Selling
Nowadays,
judge kits is very common. Pick up your judge kit, and it costs money to pick up.
So, Abolish, I'd love if you could respond to us, because this is what I recall too back in the day, that High Times would give you 30 days to judge it. But the caveat back then was you just signed up and got picked, right? There was no like paying, there was no like inside whatever. It was just like you throw your hat in the ring and they're gonna pick out however many 80 entries, 20 entries, whatever it is. And yeah, this, he said it was pre-COVID, but you didn't have to pay, right? Abolish, it was more of like a sign up and get selected. I think that's what happened, and I think that's a better method than hand picking your judges, right? Than saying, oh, here's my 5 friends that I think there should be the judges or whatever, and they're going to go through and judge this whole competition, and that will be the result. It's like, that's probably the worst way to do it.
I guess it depends on what you're trying to say. Like Lucas brought up a good point when she said that's fan favorites. Is it a fan favorite award? Are you going to say this is a fan favorite award, or are you going to say this is the best whatever A B C D? If you're saying it's the best, you're saying it's something more than that's the common mass market thing.
It was judged best by whatever group of judges you had, but that group of judges makes a difference of what kind of
I agree, yeah, and that's why I really like the idea of the people that participate be the judges and rate everything.
I think that is pretty cool.
I think it would be cool to do a fan favorite, like how you do Free Growly, where you just pass out dabs. If they had a set amount to pass out to attendees for each person, and then
everyone bring an ounce or
a
something.
person would be able to go in and say. So,
well, if you're moving product, or even if you're a caregiver, the fan favorite is the thing you're out of all the time. That everybody's.
But I'm saying you would put it up so when you do your
That's a good point.
you donate your thing, you would pick your fan favorite.
Yeah,
so say it's
true.
whatever it is, like
Spartan Puke.
Yeah, and then you would put that in as your entry into the competition, and then they would let the actual people who participated judge, and that would be the first place, second place, like the real one. I hate to say real one, but you know what I mean. And
then go out to the fan favorite.
During the event, you have a set number of people who get to come through, whether it's first come, first serve, and they just, whatever they put in, like say it's 2 grams, they would put in 4 grams instead, so that 2 of those grams are then distributed among the fans or the attendees of the event. And then they would be able to put in, and by the end of that event, you could have the fan favorite result, I think. And you would take each person's fan favorite. So like Red, you would put up your rainbow belts. For Growly, you would put up Lime Skunk, and that would, because that's your fan favorite, that's the one you're out of, sure. But then it would be everybody's against each other.
The same, yeah.
To see who the participants are. I think that would be cool to get an actual participant feedback.
Well, I think as the grower, it's great to get any feedback, and the most thing you want to see the most is the judges' feedback. And
I mean, if you're calling it fan, though, where are they getting the fan from?
It's just whoever signed up. I think
whoever said this is 1 out of 10. It's this number. Give me a Y. I think that's awesome to get that information back as a grower.
I mean, yeah.
The fan favorites.
Favorite.
The fan favorites come when you've got 40 entries into this contest, and the judges have judged it. The top 10 of those 40 or 12, depending on how many you want to limit your favorites to, are the ones that go on to at the actual event. People come up and get samples and sit down and smoke it and talk about it. And but that's how they narrow it down, so that you're not there all day smoking 40 different samples of bud and trying to fairly judge it.
Oh,
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It sounds fun until you try to do it. And,
Yeah,
but
but you
let
throw
me
it
say, you're not
forward.
by the time toward the end, you're not being fair to the people at the end. You sure aren't. So
I
a
feel like
dozen
6
samples,
hours, 40
pretty
dabs.
good.
Sign me up. That's easy.
Well,
Well,
dabs
you do
takes
dabs. There was
flower.
like this particular at the Sun Grown. There were 9 dabs and 10 flower samples. So, and that was plenty.
Yeah,
But
that's good
remember
flower.
when they started doing that, I had already been sitting with Smiley's Garden, who brought tins full of joints. We were passing those around like nobody's business. So, you know,
He's got some good flower too. Some
oh
really-
yeah, I was all hyed up.
It just depends on where your baseline is, right?
Yeah.
Did you come into the contest high, or did you get high through the contest?
Oh, you know me.
Is there a best way of doing this? Because it does feel like giving someone, I mean, especially when it comes to something like edibles or something, right? Like you have to have time to judge something like that if we're talking
Yeah.
about effects.
Yeah,
If we're
and there
talking
were
about
edibles
something
in
like
there.
dabs, honestly, dabs are probably the easiest one to judge on just basically look, smell, taste, like those, the burnability, cleanliness, all those types of things, right?
I
And
don't
being
think
able to
edibles
do
would be
maybe
fair to
more
judge
than a
effect
dozen.
wise.
Sorry, what was that, Emily?
I don't think edibles would be fair to judge effect wise. I think edibles would be one of the ones that you would be able to do just by taste and look and that, because it's gonna digest it to somebody differently. So how would you compare that with another person?
The same thing goes with flower, though. The effects are going to be different for everybody. It doesn't matter what cannabis strain or product we're talking about. The effects quite literally might be different for every single person.
Yeah, I
You know,
couldn't be
so-
an edible
With
judge because
smoking,
edibles
though?
don't affect me.
Yeah, for sure. Even smoking, dabbing,
See,
all
so
that.
well, I guess you would just know that and not participate then, Blue Kiss. Like you just wouldn't be
Yeah,
an
yeah,
edible.
exactly. But so
Yeah.
you find somebody who's sensitive and they go, "Ooh, yeah, that."
Because I feel like at that point, then why do we look at that at all when we can just get a potency test?
Because everyone's going to feel differently about it, right? You know what I mean? And that does matter. But it's going to be different for everybody, and that's why it's such a subjective thing. It's hard to find an objective winner in this unless you just do lab testing and rely specifically on
Yeah,
what terp results. Like we want to find the terpiest ones. Well, that's easy. You just go lab test it. We want to find the highest cannabinoid potency, right? Go test it. But none of those lab tests really matter if no one wants to smoke it or no one wants to eat it,
yeah.
right? So
If
that
your entourage is bullshit.
right, and as Marcus used to say, the bioassay, right? Like that is the ultimate test of just eating it, just smoking it. Just what does it do to your body? How does it work for you? I might love lime skunk. Guess what? There's a lot of people that probably don't. I know that for a fact with clementine, it's too rich in terps and too
I mean,
sharp,
they're wrong.
right?
Oversensitive.
You hear that, Pedro?
fool.
You're wrong.
Oversensitive fool,
Wrong,
Pedro.
You and your
Clementine
sensitive
also
throat.
good. Very good. One of my favorite dabs I've ever had. That
Thrown
man-
down with Pedro on a Sunday night. Who knew I was going to do that?
Hey, we didn't have a show on Friday, so I got to call him up. See you in a week, buddy.
Oh, that is okay because I thank you, Emily, actually for coming on, and to Tara too, who's not here on my show on Friday. I moved my Growing Femme show from 7:10 to 9 o'clock because 7:10 Eastern was even hard for me to get there and be on time for, let alone anybody else in any other time zone. So I'm going
Yeah,
9
she asked
o'clock.
me if I want to get on, and I'm like, oh, I could probably. And she sends me the link right away. Mind you, it's like 30 minutes from 7:10, and that's when I know that she goes live. And I'm like, well, I probably won't make that. I'm wrapping up rapping, like I got a little bit still, and no response. And so
Yeah,
like,
I just off in my own world.
and I go to join it, and there's nobody there, and I'm just like, okay, let me look on the
This is
YouTube, and it was
odd.
like 2 hours later, and I'm like, all right, never mind.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
was
like when I
prepared
tell,
for you.
it's
I
like when
was
I tell
ready.
Becca I'm going to call her when I get home, and I never do. I'm just terrible at details sometimes. I'm
I
going
was
to
so
drop the boomer card for that one,
You drive so far. I just like to know you survived the
and I do, and I appreciate it too. But I'm so horrible about this. I do that to my daughter too, and she's just given up on me. I've got to tell you.
No, the scary part is when you do get a call from Blue Kiss, because then there is a problem, and her car is broken down on the side of the highway, 3 hours from home.
Yeah, you don't want to hear from me then. Thank God that only happened once. The one I liked was when I was in Colorado and they canceled my flight a whole day. Yeah, and then my car got canceled. Oh, Jesus Christ, it was horrid. The last trip to Colorado wasn't as smooth as I would have liked it to be. But
You guys
so
want to hear a
it just-
fun?
You'll redo it.
Should we?
Yeah.
Do it over.
Is it, you know what? It's the holidays. A lot of people are traveling. You guys want to share your worst, like, or scariest, or just, I don't know, awful travel moments? You guys got any good ones? I mean, we know about Lucas's and that whole situation.
Yeah,
I think we talked about it
Newark.
on the show,
Newark
right?
is
Yeah.
my worst.
I feel like Russ has got one.
I had one recently, so scary. I had my little brother and sister who are like 8 and 3 in the car, just picked up the 3-year-old from daycare, and all of a sudden, like, the lights start popping up on my dashboard,
Oh shit.
and then the radio died, and I was able to come to a stop at a light, and then the car like completely died. The power steering went out.
Oh shit.
Here I am, like, I can barely walk around, guys. I'm so pregnant, and I've got 2 young children, and it's like 5 degrees outside. I like barely could like get my car to go into this person's driveway, and everything was fine, but I'm just like so glad I wasn't on the highway. That's like my
Was it your alternator?
oh my gosh, I think so. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it sounds like it.
holidays. It can't go in until after. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a deja vu that you started telling me about, and I remembered it was my alternator.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crying on the phone. I'm like, I didn't like. It's so-
I'm just here in the middle of shit.
Same thing happened to me in like 2018. I like drove all the way to my now wife's house, and we lived like an hour away at the time. Like, I think I pulled up onto her street and like got maybe 2 doors down from her house, and all of a sudden stuff just started flashing, like barely blinking, and like you said, power steering goes out, and I'm like, oh god, I just kind of pulled over to the side.
This isn't good at all.
Yeah, no, I guess we're gonna tow. What do we do now? Fortunately I was at my destination, but that is a terrifying
Like,
moment.
Yeah, that is
Years
that
ago, I
is
had
a
to get a
fortune.
new car. It wasn't my alternator, but I was on the highway and I had my cruise control set at like 70, and all of a sudden it's like 60, 55, and I'm like, what the hell? So I like try to press the gas, nothing's happening, and I like get myself pulled off, and then the lights and stuff, and it was the timing belt. My timing belt broke
Oh,
or
shit.
something like that. So
Ugh.
Yeah,
this
that
is
is
so
a-
thanks.
this is a little bit more of a personal story, but I've got a pretty. This is not a good moment in my travel history. Mrs. Frugoli and I, on our honeymoon, right? We were very
wow.
blessed to travel pretty far, and spent whatever 10, 11, 12, something like that hours traveling across the country and over the ocean, get to our destination. We're having the time of our lives, right? We're so excited to be there. Like, just got married, first time really like going on a real big trip together and all this stuff, and get off the plane, grab our bags. We have to take like this like tram thing or whatever through the airport, right, to get to the rental car area. We get to the rental car area, and I go to pull out my wallet, like with my ID, to check in for the rental car we reserved and everything. And I realize I don't have my wallet. I don't have my ID, and I don't have any of the cash I brought, which was most of the money we had, right? So
Oh my God.
I'm like, where's that? I'm kind of digging through the bags real quick, and I realize, I look at my now wife, at the time, I left my fucking fanny pack with all of that on the plane that we deboarded hour and a half ago at this point. And so I had to leave her there at the car check area, whatever, the car rental area, take the tram all the way back to the gates and stuff.
Airport.
How
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
to get into the airport with no identification?
Bro, I went to the airlines people first, like the lost and found or whatever. Then I went to the airport, lost and found, and it was nowhere to be found. I went to security, like the security or police, whatever it was, I don't remember, and kind of talked to them. They're kind of looking at me like, I don't fuck tell you, I went back to the airlines people, and because I realized at this point that I had it just basically clipped around the armrest. Like, it's a fanny pack, right? You can clip it and store it somewhere safe, right? I realized like this is like 2.5 hours later at this point.
Fanny.
I have that thing clipped to the seat. I go, I know my seat number. I know where I was sitting. I know exactly where this is. I just need to find someone to, because they're not going to let me board a plane, right? Like 2 hours later, if it's
Somebody
still
please
here.
go on that plane.
Yeah. So I basically just, pleaded my case with these two ladies. And the airport at this point is like emptied out. Like, I don't know if we just got there to the point of the day where there's like no more planes coming in or whatever,
Flights.
but yeah, there's not a whole lot of people around at this point, and I'm just kind of like looking at these two ladies, like I don't know what I can do.
beseech you.
Yeah, like please. I mean, I don't know what to do right now. I have no money. I have no identification. Like this is our honeymoon. Hands up in the air, right? So one of them was just kind of like, screw you. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care. And then the other
You
one's like,
gotta
all right,
go.
honey, like I'll go look for you. And she went and looked. She comes back. She goes, I didn't find anything. I go, ma'am. I don't know if you didn't look at the right seat or you didn't look deep enough or whatever. Or maybe someone stole it. Maybe someone came on the plane, they're cleaning it or whatever. They saw it and they stole it. And I'm out, everything, right? Just like, I'm like almost breaking down and like crying. Cause I know, my wife's by herself, sitting there like waiting. We don't know what's going to happen at this point, right? I'm like, please just explain to her exactly where it is. I'm like, please just go look in this seat at this spot.
Make sure you're not missing it.
Yeah, she's like, all right, I'm sorry, I'll go look again. And she did, and she came back with it in her hand, dude. And
Big smile on her face too, huh?
Well, it wasn't over yet because I was like, I thought for sure I was going to open it. It was going to be empty, right? Because I don't know how many people had been through that plane. I don't know if anybody saw it or anybody touched it or anything. Everything was there. She handed it to me. Everything was inside. And honestly, I tried to give her $100 bill. She wouldn't even take $100 bill for.
Oh.
I mean, and that was the smallest
that's
I
so
could, because
sweet.
she saved my entire honeymoon. But
Oh yeah, you're getting back because you wouldn't have
God,
been able to get back.
I'm
without
sweating
your
right
ID.
now just thinking about this. That was such an awful moment.
Oh my God,
Fortunately, everything
you
worked
win.
out.
You win.
They're not very nice in airports, or
No.
just so
No.
less. Like that happened when me and my mom went to Mexico in February. She'd left her phone on the way back, like sitting at customs, and she was like, I know exactly where it is. Can you just send somebody? And 5 people we like went through trying to get them to go and get her phone because they wouldn't let us back. And finally, like I kept calling, and eventually somebody picked up, like, oh, I have your phone here. And it's like, okay, I've been calling for this whole time.
Yeah.
You didn't see the 36 missed calls from the same friggin' number. Like, answer it.
I don't know where to even look. It's like, told you.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah,
Miss
but
Tara.
welcome.
Cheers,
How are you
everybody.
doing?
Sorry
I
I'm
like your
late.
sweater.
Hi, me.
Thanks. Here, I'll give you the full view. Here, let me get in there. It's a llama
Feliz
Yeah,
Navidad.
with
that's
some
so
chili
cool.
peppers hanging.
So
Feliz
speaking of
Navidad.
llamas, did you guys know?
That's so cool.
What do I know about llamas? What are you asking about llamas?
It's
I don't
really
know, but one of my
alpacas. You
favorite
missed our
kids' books
alpaca
is Llama
discussion.
Llama.
Yeah, red pajama.
I love that book. I absolutely love that book. How's everybody doing?
Good, Tara, but we've been talking about ourselves. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I just got off work, so I'm ready to smoke. And
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to give a huge congratulations to Blue Kiss. I love you,
Thank
and
you,
I'm so
darling.
stoked for you. Phenomenal job.
Thank you very much.
Tara,
You're
I
welcome.
have to assume
I had
you got
agreed
to try that
that-
flower, right?
I've what?
Have you tried the, what was it, Applejack or Apple?
Applejack's
Apple
nobody's
Jacks.
tried it here.
No, I haven't got to try it yet.
What?
No, I know.
And I didn't go to Third Eye this week because I just couldn't. And yeah, that's how
I was
that
hoping we
goes.
get a live review or something of it. Other than
No, I
yours.
wish I had one to
I will say this, that anybody thinking about trying AB Seeds Genetics, he's got some good stuff out there. I've got some that I brought last year at the same time I got the Applejacks. I also got Tahitian free. I think that Tara may have that one too, or something off so very similar to it because we bought
I've
it.
got
at the same-
Cowboy Yeti. Yeah, I've got the Cowboy Yeti still.
Yeah. So, and how was that for you?
Oh, I loved it. That's Mr. Nasty and oh, I can't remember that. Huh? Can't remember. I know it's Mr. Nasty. That's what drew me to it.
Like those
We
bad
gave it-
boys.
We gave it to Pergoli, and we got a good. I was happy with the amount just because we've never done it before. But
Oh, I
we'd like to
remember,
wash
yes,
it and
I
see what
remember you
happens.
did wash it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Pergoli did it, so we didn't wash it, but that was my
Not
crazy.
washing over here, but yeah, you know.
No, we didn't wash it.
Small.
We did the
Soaking
Fergoli. We
it.
did the Fergoli way. We went the Fergoli way. That was my crazy seeded out run. That was I was about ready to pull the trigger on that and cut all of it down. So that was that whole bunch.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, that was
It
a
was an
nightmare.
Enswell one there for
Oh,
sure.
I was
Yeah.
wondering if you had left Red or if you were just sitting back.
It's doing the limbo.
Thank you.
Lingered off to the side.
Now you don't.
I mean,
Like I made a fire chicken soup, and I'm now just getting into it.
chicken noodle soup.
Is that what
Oh
she's
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I brought that up to Mrs. Fergoli today. She said maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I made chicken soup for dinner in the instant pot today for the first time, and that was so fucking cool.
Really?
That's
Turned out
awesome.
great.
It turned
How
out
long have you had
amazing.
yours?
It was done in an
How long have
hour.
you had your pot?
What?
How long have you had your pot?
I got it. I found it at Goodwill like 3 weeks ago, and I just used it for the first time tonight, and it's freaking amazing. I mean,
Cool.
I only used it to make some soup, and it
We had
was
chicken
dumplings.
in like an hour. It was
Yeah.
fucking badass.
Yeah,
it's macaroni in like 3 minutes or something. Those things are crazy. I don't have enough experience on one. I've had one for way too long, and
It's like your
probably
vacuum oven,
fewer
man.
uses than I do years.
I was
But-
wondering if I got a busted up one because for the first like 20-25 minutes, it just kept loading. But I guess it was just supposed to be like building pressure and heat in it. And then the time started counting down. And within like 2 minutes, it smelled incredible.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
it probably cooks like it takes so long for it to heat up, but as soon as it starts, for me, I could do chicken soup in like 30 minutes, even
Oh
like
my gosh.
super fast.
Yeah, it's like a new age pressure cooker is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so cool. I got it was really cool. It's got all the pieces and like a little book that came in it along with the like directions for it. And the book has
Great.
like 15, 18 different recipes for like sides, rices, meats, soups, breakfast.
Nice.
Like it has like this really cool oatmeal recipe. So yeah,
All
I'm
right.
gonna try a handful.
If you were living in like a downtown, I know Spartan, this isn't this would never happen to you because you wouldn't do okay. If just imagine you were living in
In
a
a crazy
studio
world.
apartment in downtown New York City and you had a
Oh,
mini fridge, no dishwasher, no stove, no oven, and maybe a
I'm
coffee
living
pot.
in that.
What other well,
Okay,
welcome
I'm
to
sorry.
New York
I've
City.
been poor before, so I haven't had that. Like I would need a hot plate.
I was gonna ask, what two appliances would you want, and why would it be an air fryer and an instant pot? Go.
Honestly, nowadays, yeah, 100%. Nowadays, an air fryer and an instant pot, easy.
Yeah, I definitely don't think we could do without our air fryer. That's a must here.
Our air fryer is also an oven, so I dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got that ability, yeah, that's exactly it. Because I got to have my toaster oven.
Yeah, I've had a toaster oven and I've had an air fryer separate.
Yeah, we got like a stainless steel one a couple years ago that like it's like looks like a toaster oven, but it's also an air fryer.
/ dehydrator.
Yeah, it dehydrates.
Nice.
That's awesome. How
I'm thinking that would be your
how
one
much does it
appliance for
hold?
sure.
Is
It
it like
was like $100. It wasn't that expensive either.
no? How big is it?
Not very big. It's about.
Does it have trays or is it just one
It's like
layer?
maybe 20 inches wide,
You can fit 2 trays,
maybe 20 inches deep.
3 trays in it. Comes with 3 trays.
I think it has like
It's
6 slots
decent
for
size.
shelves or something.
Oh, nice.
It'll bake a small
Chicken.
pizza, right? It'll bake one of those like pizzas in the sealed plastic in the box, a Tombstone pizza.
Oh,
Oh, that's pretty good size.
Tombstone pizza.
I've got an Instapot, but I've not used it yet. Amanda gave it to me. I've not yet. I've yet. I want to use it. I think it's a cool concept, and I think it would cut my time in half of making stuff. But yeah, I haven't like played with it yet.
I got one specifically. I was looking for a rice cooker because I hate.
I want a rice cooker too.
Well, there's a rice option on it, and I still haven't figured it out.
Oh, okay.
But it's
Maybe
coming.
YouTube it.
Yeah, exactly.
Good idea.
The only reason why I don't use the Instant Pot more for soup is because it gets to such a high temperature. And if I'm using like bone broth or something, you want it to like simmer rather than boil. So that's
Yeah.
the only reason, but it's so convenient to just throw it all in there and then it's just done. You don't have to worry about like watching it at all
Mhm.
forever.
Cooks fast, but it cooks hot. So
I
there's a give and take, I guess.
Good
I mean,
point.
I'm most familiar with using a slow cooker.
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that you can put it on low and let it sit literally 8 hours and let it all, get to that point where the meat is falling apart. But like being able to throw it together all within the hour was fantastic because I always forget to like thaw the meat or bring it out or, oh, I think I have chicken. And then I go look and I actually don't, so
Yeah,
putting
she
it
had a
together that
big-
night.
She put a big ass thick piece of chicken breast in there,
Mhm.
and it cooked that down that quick as hell. Like normally, you
Not for nothing, but we missed the half hour hash time, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a dab now. Cheers, everybody.
Oh, I'm gonna join you. I
Cheers.
love on the show. Cheers.
All right, yeah, let's do a holiday cheers.
I'm gonna do Rainbow Monk from the Trichome Forge. That's
Ooh,
my
that sounds good.
Yum.
Very good.
we got that, and we got our sour diesel stuff back here.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for you guys to get that back.
It's like super.
Don't rush.
Super
We'll
light.
wait for you, Red.
Very light.
Oops.
Bake,
Did that, I accidentally
Bake is
started
supposed to come through Defiance on his way to visit family over Christmas break, so he said he'd stop here, so maybe we can
Nice.
get a special delivery.
There you go. There you go.
Cool.
Special delivery.
I told him there's hot chocolate next door.
Yes.
So we can go get that.
Cheers.
I'll make
You got a
sure
Speedway
he
next
makes
door?
you some
Because,
good
uh,
hot chocolate.
Speed right now on his list. Speedway is at the top.
Oh, I know. I was with him when we
Yeah.
went for the first time there. Yeah,
And there's got to be better hot chocolate than that. I mean, for God's sakes, really, Speedway?
it's good.
I think it was yesterday. He came in one. It looked like a 32-ounce hot chocolate or something. Like, what the fuck?
Has he tried it from Dunkin' Donuts yet?
I don't think so.
Dunkin' Donuts, yeah.
I'm going to have to ask him.
What we dabbing on? Grab some OG.
Woo.
I literally just tapped the same thing that's in these, just the terpene fraction.
Just dab just the terpenes.
Yeah, well, it's high terpene extract, so it's probably more like anywhere from 8 to 15% terps.
Oof, that sounds harsh.
And
I mean, it's
he disappears. Nothing up your sleeve.
I want to dab. That sounds
Oh,
fun.
hash ball.
soon.
Becca's like, damn
Soon
you
enough.
all, shut up.
Becca's here. Hey, a hash ball.
I'm just jealous. The smells, like using a torch and heating up a banger and having like a nice dab at the perfect temperature.
Not too much longer.
Yeah, just a while.
And feel it melt your brain. Oh, love it.
I'll have some good dabs ready for you.
She probably got a good contact buzz yesterday at the.
Yeah, just be careful. We don't. That first time out, you should be going into the outer stratosphere.
That's the idea.
Oh no, it'll be so easy to happen too. We remember what happens when Becca gets too high. Remember that?
You've even got one.
That's on edibles.
Apollo. We've got an Apollo.
Yeah, well,
An Apollo. One or something. Apollo 13 genetic line.
Apollo 1, 13.
Dude, I've had this seed sitting around for years. I got rid of Apollo 13 just because it was. I've grown it for years and years and years. But dude, it's like cheese. Moon cheese. Moon cheese is how I describe it. It's super cheesy. It's funky. It's like baby diapers. It's like yeah,
Baby diapers.
kind of funky.
I said, I don't think you smelled a real baby diaper before.
Not
Oh,
yet.
The diaper.
Don't worry, that'll change very soon.
Yeah, you have plenty of examples. Don't worry.
I cannot wait.
It's more like the diaper without the poo. You know. What I
Did you
mean?
just say you can't wait? Why are you wishing that on any?
Because it's such an adventure.
Hey, man, I can't wait for the baby poo either.
The first one is the worst. It's all uphill.
Oh,
from
I
there.
can't wait for an up the backer. An up
I
the
think
backer,
you'll have a
that'll take
viral.
us
I think
great.
you'll have a viral video if you do him changing it for a shitty
Oh,
diaper.
the back blowouts are ridiculously. Oh, that's
Yeah,
just
sometimes they poop and it goes
you
all
need a whole garbage.
Oh,
bag.
yeah.
Yeah, we called them in our family up the backers.
Oh,
Yeah, and if
Usually
it's a
happens
boy,
when
you
you put a
think
snowsuit on them and they're everything's trapped in
Yeah.
there.
Can't wait to call Ruben for assistance. Here, Ruben.
Ruben will take
Or
a sniff and back away.
spray some peanut butter on that or something.
Here,
yeah.
Ruben, I'll change your
honestly,
brother or sister.
rosin and bag
Here, we ran out of wipes. Here,
blowouts.
Ruben.
I don't think you can get Ruben to be that sick. No.
It's,
The thought of it's just, oh my God.
You're gonna
no, I'm actually really excited for this. You know, this is part of humanity, right? It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
experiences of life. So
Yeah, the circle of life. When you complete that circle, boy, it's an amazing fucking
very
thing.
grateful. We're not there yet. We got you know, the home stretch to go, and just happy to be where we're at. I know
You're
Becca's.
telling me.
I'm just speaking. Yeah, just in whatever.
Bobby's real. She's just not out.
This is-
currently doing like acrobatics.
I don't get kicked in the ribs.
Acrobatics.
I just get like solidarity headaches and shit like that.
solidarity headaches. Is this a union? Did you join a union?
Yeah, he did literally
Hey,
join a
they only
union.
need
That's right. You only need two. Start a union.
Did,
Solidarity.
have you put any sympathy weight on? Because I think I did that for
Yeah,
sure.
that's
for
that,
sure.
a little bit. No, dude, I've been running my ass off around here, so it's not really.
Oh yeah, you guys have been pretty busy.
Sympathy, sleep loss. I've had some of that.
Oh, see,
There's
that's
plenty
just
more of that to
practice
come.
at this point. Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
practice at this point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I'm real sorry.
I could.
Well,
Yeah,
but you've got a good network of support, though. That baby's going to be the most spoiled
I
baby.
just move slower. That's all.
It's crazy. This is the last show. Well, is it the last show of the year? Well, I don't know. Are we going to do a show on the 29th?
I feel like the 29th is reasonable. I don't think we should try to do a late session on Monday, which is New Year's Eve, because I think that would be silly, even though we could actually ring in the New Year. I don't know.
Tuesday's
Tuesday is 31st.
JK guys, doesn't matter what I just said. So we could do a late session if we wanted to. Yeah, there's 31 days.
30th, my wedding
We
anniversary.
have a family gathering Sunday the 29th, so it all depends on a handful of factors for us. But we're either way. So
no way we're
I think we should do one more.
yeah, we'll probably be back by then. But you know,
By the way, is that a little red Sutter farm pin in your hat there, Red?
yeah, it is actually. I
Oh,
don't know
nice. Nice.
if you can. The red.
It's a nice addition.
Go back to the marketing campaign when we had Red Soda Farm hat pins. We had a handful of those a couple years ago.
I got mine in my Carhartt hat still.
I got mine.
Hey,
Oh,
Don.
hi, Ruben.
that wasn't
No, that was actually Logan.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that was my asshole.
Speaking of asshole dogs, my the poor internet guy must have been taking care of my neighbor today on a Sunday of all times. Maybe an emergency, but all of a sudden I'm out there moving bricks around. Don't ask why. And
Something fun to
and
do
all of a
on
sudden
fun.
What?
yeah, just did 3 inches of
Just
snow,
moving around.
5 degrees, and yeah, just moving bricks, cinder blocks. Don't worry about it. Anyways, my 88-pound mastiff pit that's out there with me all of a sudden takes off towards the neighbors and starts barking, real loud. And and I just hear, oh, and I'm like, oh shit,
Do that.
start yelling at my dog, and she listens real well, and she doesn't really too often go off the property, especially to like mess with the neighbors or something. She just likes barking at them. So she stops and turns around, comes back, and I'm like, hey, I see the guy through the tree line, and he's got a big ass ladder in his hand. I'm like, okay, it's probably like the energy company or something, and like, how you doing? He's like, well, better now, because I called the dog. I'm like, I understand that,
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a little fright today. Freaking giant mastiff pit bull running at him.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Sorry, bud.
It's like, yeah, I know. It's hard to feel sorry for him. But
Yeah, he's like, I was like,
I just
I
think
would appreciate a call first, because I thought he was just
Yeah.
working on it for us or something, He's like, well, I'm at your neighbors. I'm just thinking to myself, well, the lines are on the property line, so technically you're on the. I mean, it's just like, I'm whatever. Have a great day, dude.
yeah.
She's not gonna
Well,
go get you.
just so you know, I
trying to
didn't
scare
feed
you.
my dog yet today, so you better stay at my
Yeah,
neighbor's.
just watch your
house
P's and
today.
Q's and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
No sudden moves.
get off my lawn.
Right.
Oops.
I know you're over. You're just a fucking cop. That's what you should say.
Yeah, are you the feds?
You gotta
What
tell me
three-letter
if you're a
surveilling
cop.
me?
agency are you?
Are you
Come on, you gotta
surveilling
tell me
me?
if you're a cop.
Yeah. Don't you put that camera up there? I swear to.
This is for not today, man.
So you guys want to talk about these drones over New Jersey and everywhere?
What about the?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know
The
Red
government
does.
says we shouldn't even be worried about them. There's nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
They're watching our channel. Great. You said the D word.
They don't know what they are. They
There's
can't
a whole.
D
there's a whole
word.
channel on
Those
YouTube.
are our drones. Don't you remember?
Yeah.
I tried to bring it up last week, and that's what he said, the D word. I was like, dang it.
There's a whole tab. There's a tab on YouTube. Here's the funny thing is that there hasn't really been any updated news in like, I don't know, a week. It's all the same story from 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, or whenever it
Oh, yeah,
was.
pay
And then,
attention, because it's
and then like whatever news channel keeps replaying the same hearing and the same commander speech. He's done like two updates or something like that. They've been replaying it for days. So it says live, and you log in, and you're like, oh, is he like saying something again? It's not the same shit. Same shit.
Same
loop.
shit, different day. That's
Every
what you're
20
getting.
minutes on a loop for 24 hours a day. Just gain. It's smart for whatever engagement and clicks and stuff like that. But it's kind of making it
Nothing
seem like
new.
current news, and there's really no current news. But I don't know. Yeah. My thoughts are I don't know, man.
What are you really?
I have one name. For people to just plug into YouTube, and that's Stephen Greer. I've heard him, and his shit is like pretty far out there on what he's talking about. But he claims to have some credible whistleblower information on the entire thing, and is claiming pretty heavy. And he's a doctor of whatever. He's a doctor, and I think like
PhD.
yeah, he's a PhD in the strange and supernatural or some shit. But he's worked with like people from government agencies and all kinds of stuff like that, and blah blah blah. Right. But anyway, Stephen Greer is probably the name that has been the most recent one. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, whatever. I mean, at first I'm like, yeah, blinking lights. It's Santa Claus. Reading. At first I was like, before anybody was really even talking about it, like I have boating and stuff with mechanics and stuff like that for airplane mechanic, and so I understand the starboard and port side navigation lights and stuff like that. And a lot of the videos, whether I don't know if a lot of the videos that I saw were just B-roll or if they're actual videos, but the actual whatever's claimed to be an actual video, I'm seeing a lot of red and green navigation lights. So I'm seeing safety protocol being followed. I'm seeing
FAA lighting, the
FAA
regulated lighting.
Yeah. So things like that, and even on these like videos of the orbs, that are like these holographic looking thing, I'm seeing, again, if you look really deep into the videos, who knows, I'm seeing the red and green lights flashing within the orb. But I'm also like kind of thinking, would these orbs maybe be like a hologram to hide technology? You know what I mean? Like maybe it's like flickering incandescence, pearlescence on the craft of whatever it's doing. And they're talking about some of these drones that can go from a propeller to a fixed wing. And maybe there's some sort of a conversion technology that they're not really trying to unleash. So they're keeping it in this state of hologram camouflage, so to speak. So these are just my kind of thoughts. But again, there's a
video, Red, of them morphing from like an orb without the red and blue lights or anything, and then morphing into a what looks to be like a drone, but it looks kind of like a plane to me.
That's what I mean.
With the red and blue lights, so it goes from not having it to all of a sudden having it. And so what I heard that was interesting about that, or a theory that I thought was interesting, was what if it was some sort of alien craft or anything like that, of course, or even a spy drone or whatever. Of course, you're going to want to make it to look like just a regular aircraft. So when people are just down there looking up at you think, oh, that's just an airplane, and you don't look at it, question it. But it's hanging over, Navy, or not Navy, but Air Force bases and in some sensitive areas, manufacturing for our weapon systems, hanging over that factory. So there are some of I'm not saying all of them are legit, but there's some of them that are pretty goddamn suspicious. And when a government agency says, you've got nothing to worry about, but we can't track them and we don't know what they are.
The thing is you can't communicate with it. How does it not pose a threat, right? Aren't you supposed to be able to communicate with something?
Tell me what it is.
Like, in my opinion, and I'm thinking about this, like, okay, I don't know, can I use the M word? Like, if it was a projectile coming at us, right? Some sort of
where are we going with this?
I'm
scared for Broly, man.
Let's say there was a WMD projectile.
Oh yeah,
M word flying through outer space.
M-word?
Missile. I don't want to say these words. I don't want to say trigger words. Missile.
I heard N word.
So did I. I got so scared.
Do they have to pass legislation? Do they have to pass legislation for, I don't know, airspace retrieval or something to
perfect.
Consider it a threat? I mean, at what point does something that you communicate with?
So here's the thing. The from the tops of the blades of the grass to about 80,000 feet above ground level is regulated by the FAA. That's the only real regulatory body that controls all of our airspace, including right above the grass in your backyard, right? Now, there's some other organizations within our government that have some say over that airspace, namely like the Department of Defense, right? Basically anything to do with military or heightened security movement type situations like presidential movements and things like that. But namely it's the FAA. When it comes to like local law enforcement and even state law enforcement, they don't have a whole lot of like jurisdiction over shooting shit down out of the sky. And part of that is because whatever goes up must come down, right? And this is one of those areas where realistically we've never had a serious threat in modern times over our own soil. And so we've never had to really think about what we'd have to do outside of like full-blown invasion if something were to be over our soil, right? Just look what happened, 3-4 years ago with the hot air balloon thing and how long we let that go before we finally shot it down, right? I don't think this is maybe too far different from that in that regard. Now, in terms of what they are or what we're seeing, I'm telling you guys, after 8 years of flying drones.
My question, I understand all that. My question is, at what point does it pose a threat? Like, is a missile a threat? Like, are they actually going to shoot something like that down? If it's
if we want to consider
pass legislation to shoot something down.
Well, no. We wouldn't have to pass legislation. It's rules of engagement kind of determine that. But again, that's like Department of Defense. It's not your state police. It's not your local sheriff.
I'm talking about the military stepping in and saying, this is a threat. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Military bases.
But they've said it's not a threat, which I think. And the fact that they haven't shot anything down, and the fact that they said it's not a threat, I think tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's not it's us.
It's not a foreign entity. It's not UAPs, which, out of anything, I kind of wish it would be that, just because that would be fucking wild. But
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
yeah, it's.
Why
I
would they?
think we're either testing some tech, or it's just. I think 98% of it is mass hysteria of people looking up at the sky for the first time and realizing what a plane looks like flying over the head of them. Because I could throw a drone up and bring my webcam outside and show you what a drone looks like at 400 feet. It's a lot different than what a plane looks like at 4,000 feet or 34,000 feet, right?
People eyewitnesses are saying they're the size of like vehicles, like cars.
Which those do exist. There's drones that do exist that big, but if
Yeah,
you're
they're so loud.
they can't discern that. You can't discern that at 400 feet, and you can't discern that at 4,000 feet, and you can't discern that at 40,000
They're
feet.
flying super low. These ones that they've got them on
Then
video.
where's the video?
They've
You know
got
what I'm
them
saying?
on video.
I've watched a lot of videos. None of them are showing me anything other than airplanes and stars and maybe some weird looking things or AI generated
The
things. I
film
haven't
is
seen
hard to judge in
anything,
the air.
It's hard to tell from a video.
Right.
There's a lot
especially a cell phone video.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
with AI and stuff.
I literally took my drone up and put my phone at it at 100 or like 50 feet, 100 feet, 400 feet, and it's just so hard to like gather what it is from that, right? I also flew my drone recently through a bigger, not city, but like a bigger town, we'll call it, in Michigan, and had a bunch of people walking around, and I've been approached a lot lately since that, and one of them was just like, "What the fuck is that?" It's just like,
Dude,
guys,
you know
chill
what we
out,
saw?
fucking relax.
My first
We saw
thought
while we were driving to Vegas on the highway in Nevada. It said monitored by drone or by aircraft.
Aircraft,
Yeah, the highway was, and that was really cool.
They do that in Mount Clemens.
Do they
I
really?
don't know what that is.
Yeah, they've done that for over 20 years in Mount Clemens. It's
Wow.
it's
Okay,
like
well.
a helicopter.
Is
and,
that they were to say you're going to get a ticket if you speed?
yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
It didn't give
I
me.
don't like that.
I got to say, it didn't give me.
my
Yeah,
first
that's
thought
so
was
kind.
that they were because that whatever hearing, there was a hearing that happened, and I don't know, a week and a half ago or something like that, and they were kind of trying to get some evidence together. They were just kind of they were with some, I don't know, commander and a bunch of dudes and bunch of officials from the military and stuff like that, and they kept talking about using Ukrainian intelligence to try to figure out some background on what maybe some of this stuff was. Or, and my first thoughts were, this all has to do with that. They're gonna do a little swab. They're gonna get intel from Ukraine, give them something back.
They had it coming out of the ocean.
So that's what I'm thinking at first. So and then as this is going on, and I'm thinking this, like this is happening and it's not happening. And then there was the New Jersey mayor of Bellevue or something like that. New Jersey was talking about the missing equipment, which is, I guess, medical equipment. Nonetheless, it was some radioactive medical equipment, and that's hyping up fear. There's all these words that are being used to hype up fear, and I don't know. I mean, supposedly whatever's in that medical equipment can be used to make a DB, but I don't understand a lot of the stuff going on. So it's all way over my head as far as like the inner political side goes, but I do kind of understand that there's a lot of a lot of just land that's not really owned by Americans, that's really by military bases, and a lot of this stuff could just be built on it doesn't even have to come from a foreign, it could be built here. I mean, there's a whole lot of like infrastructure here in our own country that they could be doing that kind of stuff, and who knows where it's even coming from or what it is. But yeah, so Stephen Greer talks about like the technologies that basically were found, alien technologies found in like the 40s and 50s and 60s, now fast forward almost 80 years, like this is that technology. Like this is us using, testing, and taking that technology, and then some whistleblowers or something are going to come through and shout some stuff out in the next month. So I don't know. We'll see if Stephen Greer is full of shit or not based on like the events of the next month, or if whatever plan gets diverted, because whatever podcast I just saw that has him on it most recently, has like over 2 million views. So it's getting some traction of whatever Greer's talking about. So who knows how far this little, I don't know if it's a false flag or if it's something to be concerned about, but I just keep thinking back to like WMD and when they were going after bin Laden and all of a sudden it was Saddam Hussein and the Patriot Act. And I don't know, it was all really weird back in the early 2000s. And I lost a lot of friends due to a lot of bullshit that went on. And I just really hope it's not the case that's going to happen again. So anyways.
Yeah, it's still aliens. I'm still advanced alien tech coming out of the fucking water. Come on.
I'm curious. I mean, my thought is like a lot of aliens don't travel using machines. They travel like.
Well, I think what it is the tech that the aliens have given us that we're trying to like now test with our people, and that's why the government's like, oh, they're not harmful because it's our shit. But we just don't know what the hell.
My thought is that it's not a threat because it's us, and it's us either testing stuff or like. The scary thought is that they're looking for something. That's I guess the concerning part is that they're sniffing and whatever.
I think that's that
How
one.
long
That
have we
one
seen them for?
I haven't bought into that part of it yet myself.
It's been like a month. Well, that's
if that kind of a sensitive material was in the United States, you think that our government wouldn't be fucking on it.
It's trying to.
When did that CEO get shot?
Public,
around the same time?
No, it was before.
Public approval enough, they can pass some legislation pretty fast. And Congress is pretty slow.
That's what I'm. This just reminds me of 9/11 and the Patriot.
It reminds me of the Patriot Act.
All over again.
That's
It's just like, let's scare the population. We'll call them drones. Like whatever happened to UFOs, we'll call them UAVs, call them UAPs, call them UAs, whatever.
In Iraq, and the Patriot Act passed. That's like,
and now we're gonna call them drones.
Yeah, in air travels twice as good.
Well, that's easier to swallow drones than say fucking a UAP or something. Although it doesn't, it's funny how the government is more and more forthcoming with their involvement in alien craft and admitting about alien technology, and the people don't give a shit. It seems like nobody even cares.
If it is even us,
we assumed.
The fact is there's a more than likely chance is that it's actually higher intelligence technology, even if it is us. We're not using our own tech. We're using.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, we don't have to be so conceited to think it's us either. It could be another civilization, such as other cultures. I'm saying people that. Like China's pretty goddamn advanced in their thing,
Oh, we're talking about like just foreign entities.
Yeah, foreign entities. At first, they kept saying it was Iranian drone.
Land
the mothership.
Yes,
that was wild. I'm like, what fucking? How's this guy got a cut? He's a congressperson. What is happening here?
I was like, well, where's the boat? I mean, we would. You don't just disappear. If there's a mothership, we would have.
Yeah, you know how many nuclear
there's a mothership.
That was funny. Like it's weird too because these are all supposed to be like respected people of authority, and they're just off the wall saying wild shit.
That's the biggest eye opener for me when I was going into just even Lansing and seeing politicians. No, they're just regular people, that you would bump into at freaking Meyer or
I hope this
people they don't have very much knowledge on a lot of things.
I hope a lot of people are like, oh, this is the establishment. Yeah, this is what we're talking about when we talk about the establishment. So fucking weird and corrupt, and it makes no like. They're vague. I mean, maybe they need to be vague. Maybe they have, maybe for security purposes, it needs to be vague if it's the threat. But again, I don't know, man. There's just been so many little things that I just don't trust based on past experience, events, and the way that the world's been clocking. A lot of people go with it and just see things for the way that they are and trust that it is the way that it is. And I don't know. It's hard to see when you're like, open to all kinds of ideas. I guess I'm open to very.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. There's so many possibilities. Just looking for radioactive materials, right?
Theory, chaos theory is just rampant.
Psyop. I love this. I mean, it
the
feels
story
like
that I heard was this. I mean, maybe it's a wrong story, but the story I heard that was connected with that was that there was nuclear warheads or nuclear bombs or something material out of Ukraine, and it went through Europe, and then after it went to Europe, it was headed to the United States, and it.
One guy's got one hell of a video that he claims is all fact, yeah.
But my problem with that story is the nuclear arsenal of Ukraine was exhausted in a treaty way before all of this. It's kind of started the preempt of all this war.
Yeah.
The United States and Russia, of all people, came up to Ukraine and said, "Look, it's in your best interest to get rid of your nukes, because we'll give you protections. You don't have to have nukes." So they basically talked them out of their nukes, got them disarmed, and now here they're in a war when they wouldn't be in a war.
And now you're there in a war.
But
Okay,
they
I have a
still-
question though, because I don't have a drone. So what would you do, or what are you going to do then, if anything? Like, if these drone things are aggressive of any sort, like, are you gonna put your drone up there and go like try to look around and stuff?
Bash them.
I
Kind of
actually got invited almost 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, to go on a trip to New Jersey to figure this out. Me personally, it's not worth the time. You know what I mean? I'd rather just someone else go figure it out.
Aliens, bro.
Like, say
Um,
we're just chilling here, we're not going to Jersey, we're not trying to get involved, but say they start to become like aggressive in any way. What would you do? How would you respond? Would you then try to get involved? Like, I don't have a drone. I wouldn't do anything.
Well,
I have no-
a drone is not going to do anything against these.
But are you going to go try to like look for them yourself at that point? Would you think it's worth it?
Well, okay. Explain aggressive.
Like, not
You're
saying
shooting
they're
at me,
coming
I'm
down like
shooting
killing,
back. That's
capturing,
all
or
I'm doing.
anything.
Like, not
Pull
using
out my
the first
slingshot.
second, bro.
Oh man,
That's
they laid
aggressive
on that
stuff.
horn too long.
Oh fuck, do Nevada and fucking Las Vegas for their horns. Yes.
No, I mean, are they like
Like, if they're able to
dropping
tell that
bombs or
they're
something? Yeah.
tracking, or they're figuring out routes or stuff, or if they're like scanning.
They're already
you know.
kind of
Our
doing
satellites can do that, guys. It's just a non.
But if
It
it's
doesn't
not, if
matter.
they're like, it's not ours.
It
If
doesn't
'cause right now,
matter.
I think that it's like just government stuff that they're doing, and that's why we're not concerned, because it's our government. But if they
What
come
am
out and
I
say, "Hey, these
supposed
aren't
to
our
do as a
government,"
concerned citizen with my $1,000 drone and my?
I
That's what I'm
agree.
Like
asking. You have
shotgun
a
or whatever.
$1,000 drone. What type of fucking citizen just has a $1,000 drone?
Wow.
Well, anyone can
Have
go
you
to
met
Best
for
Buy and
growth?
buy a fucking $3,000 drone if they really want to, but
Damn.
Are
It-
you
it ain't
not
gonna
doing
do
that
shit.
next? It sounds
it ain't
like
gonna
you're
do
just
shit.
modeling up.
Your shotgun is gonna do more than that. Okay, like
Yeah,
there's no.
like that.
If the government's
A
not
net gun.
taking care of it and it's a threat, we're all fucked. Everybody, we're all fucked.
Well,
There's nothing.
the reality
to us.
is,
We're not gonna be able to do shit.
the
Are you
reality
gonna be
is with
worried that they're
AI.
gonna try to take over your drone, like hack in?
Oh, they're not trying to do that, but they're making it difficult to own a drone. They're trying to
Well,
make it like
Yes,
Well-
and they've already put up no flight restrictions, temporary flight restrictions in a lot of this area, which means you can't go fly your drone there anyway. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go on that trip. Sorry, Red. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, if it got to the point where they were threatening, they have the technology and I mean, if you've ever seen a drone air show, there's thousands of these things just to do one simple air show. That's just one production company has thousands of these things, and they're small. Granted, they're tiny,
Yeah.
just little LED lights, but nonetheless, like, imagine thousands of them in a grid pattern formation because they're communicating to each other. They don't even need a pilot. They're all just pinging off of each other, just coming over.
It's all automated. It's an automated pre-planned route. They all go up at the same time. They land at the same time. Yes, China set a record about a month ago for 10,000 drones in the same light show.
Like,
They do
imagine-
them
Super nice
over
droning.
Ford Field with the Lions. They do them over the Tiger Stadium. They do them all the time. My dad was asking me about it recently. He's like, "How do they do it?" I'm like, "It's drones. It's literally just drones, cheap drones with lights in there. It's all synced through the same software." Now think about arming 10,000 drones.
That's
and
what I mean.
swarm
Think
them.
about
Yeah.
putting all of those on a grid.
what's going on there. There's that fucking drones are killing more people than bullets in Ukraine. That's fucking
It's
insanity.
crazy, dude.
I'm not surprised
Yeah.
at all.
That, dude.
You might take out a couple drones with a
Let's see where
shotgun.
drone tech is. Look what's going on
Man.
in Ukraine with drones. Drones that are staying up for days. Drones
Yeah.
that are hitting deep into Russia. It's fucking insanity. They're like repurposing airplanes.
Yeah, well, we're calling them drones, but like you can repurpose. It's just using
Well, it's just no pilot.
satellite technology.
pilot.
It's
That's-
unmanned aircraft. Think about a remote controlled car, guys. We're using the same concept and applying it to bigger vehicles, and then they're putting bombs in those vehicles. Okay, it's just that's where warfare is headed. Why risk human lives when you can risk machinery at such a lower cost?
Yeah. And here's the kicker. Like, at what point are these machines talking to themselves? When does the Skynet AI, like, what if this is an AI?
My goodness.
What if this is like intelligence at some point talking to itself?
That's why all my drones are locked in a safe right now. I'm scared they're gonna get out and fly around and do this.
Fly away. They've already robotically, made their own manufacturing.
I ain't updating
building
that
and
firmware.
everything.
Hell no.
Like, what are those 3D printers? Like,
And I think it's like the orb stuff.
3D printers got loose.
The videos of the orbs, it's like, that's not a fucking drone. That's not a fucking drone doing that. It's not a drone moving around like that.
Yes. Okay. You say that, but I've got a video prepped for you. Watch
Do
this.
we know where they're returning to?
Do you have one that's shooting fucking bullets and shooting other ones drown?
That's AI, bro. That video is so fake. It's so fake.
I'm curious about the orb videos.
That's an easy
Okay.
out.
It's a
This
very
is
easy AI.
This is these are 3
it's
different
done.
FPV drones that are only probably about 3 years old. This
Right.
technology is 3 years old. They speed the video up at one point, but all it is LED strip, and they're not even rotating. You can make these LEDs do this, right? And so again, you put these up at 400 feet, you're not going to be able to
There's
discern.
also hologram. There's hologram
orb at all.
technology. Like, think about projection and
Orb at all.
projecting light
Because
and,
that was
and
10 feet away.
refracting light and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's
It's not an orb. And
well, we see them all the time. We
off
see
of
them
those,
driving
you
cars.
see it lighting up
We see
everything
cars.
around it on top of that. That's a bright ass light.
Your phone is going to make it look like an orb from 1,000 feet away, though. That's just what it's going to look like.
You know how we see cars driving around and they look like a zebra.
The people taking
Just-
the
it's
video
just
are
white.
they're saying orb and stuff. So I mean, the phone's not making it look that way if they're looking at it with their eyes at the same time and saying, "Look at that orb in the sky."
Everybody has
Look
a
at that."
stigmatism.
Check it out. Let me throw in real quick. I live near Dearborn, so I see these cars all the time. It's the new car that's next to come out. It's driving around. They're trying to test drive it. They don't want anybody to see the details or the curves of the car. They don't want other manufacturers to mimic or copy any of the curvature of the car.
Stuff on
So
it.
they just paint the whole thing black and white stripes, and it looks like a zebra, and it's super funky looking. It's just a camouflage, just simply hide the intellectual property of the manufacturer. And what I'm thinking is this is just hologram Jerry, dude. It's hologram. It's light emitting probes and LEDs that flash. I mean, you can spin a.
Wait, you can see through a hologram though, and the orbs, they don't look like you can see
if they're
through
just
them anymore.
LEDs doing their thing and rotating.
It's like plasma up there, man.
It's what it looks like. It totally appears like it, but it also looks like refracting like light. It looks
Okay,
like.
wait, I got a question though. Do they come back to that central orb that they all spit off from?
I've seen a fucking one orb.
I'm telling you all got to listen.
But
to
do
Steve
they go
Greer
back
first.
into it?
No.
You got to listen to Stephen Greer, because he's saying that the technology to basically, the Einstein theory, space-time, fabric of space-time,
Yeah.
point A, point B, point A, point B on a piece of paper. You have to go from point A to point B. We got let's call this 5,000 miles between point A and point B. It's going to take a really long time between my fingers. But if you take point A to point B and you just kind of fold it in half, you're already there, right? So Greer's talking about this technology to like teleport and deconstruct matter and reconstruct matter. He's saying that this technology actually does exist. And what we're seeing is this technology. And it's wild to hear somebody who's claiming to be credible say this stuff, because a lot, like, you hear like Billy
Well,
Carson.
you see a lot of things that Bob Lazar said from
Well, that's what I mean.
Area 51, and now this shit happens. This that he's been talking about.
Well, he's also
all
Greer is also saying that Area 51's the patsy. Like, it's all out of this Air Force base. There's this other Air Force base.
Yeah, there's another one too.
There's another spot, but Area 51's they're the patsy. They're the distraction. It's the distraction. It's the other spot that is the real deal. And that's where all the real testing's going down. And you're talking like covert. Nobody knew about the stealth bomber being done until 20 years after it was. Nobody knew how the technology worked until 20 years later,
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it
Dude, the Blackbird goes like 3,500 miles an hour. Mach
They fly over Russia to spy on them at high altitude, and when the fucking jets come up at them, they just hit the gas.
It takes the
Walk
entire
away from them.
state of Ohio to make a turn. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
Story about a pilot that the MiGs actually shot missiles at it, and he just fucking hit the gas and went fast. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's insane.
So that's
That's
just
talking
that's
about because I do that
wow.
every morning with a coffee cup. I'll set my coffee cup down, and then all of a sudden, it's 45 minutes later, ice cold in the microwave, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
that's modern. That's known modern technology. Imagine the unknown tech, the you know peasant technology. You know the technology the peasants have no idea.
Well,
Which
and
makes me question
here you go.
whole
Here you
base-
go, guys.
What the hell?
Talking about SUV sized drones. This is about half of the size of the most current consumer level drone, right? And there's only one more regulation you have to bypass to fly a drone over 55 pounds. Say again?
Double that is still not a car.
That's
It's like
over
a
6
whole
feet
body.
across. That is over 6 feet across.
Yeah,
And so
but
they're
a
talking about
body of
SUV sized drones.
Yeah, but
over
it
6
doesn't
feet
look
across.
like the skeleton of a vehicle.
Yeah,
It looks like the panels of a vehicle.
it looks tiny.
But this looks like, like it would be the bones of a vehicle. If you had that up in
like an
the air, you'd be
SUV
able
or an
to see it.
airplane. Because if it looks like an airplane, it's probably an airplane.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these look like
Oh, that's a good camouflage.
And that's why I think people are just getting pictures of airplanes and they haven't looked up in the sky at nighttime, maybe ever in their life, and never realized that there's certain flight patterns. I didn't know there's this app called Flight Radar 24 where you can look and just go, oh, that's a Chinook. Oh, that's a Southwest flight. Oh, they're going to Chicago. Oh, cool. Oh,
you know
hey,
what?
that's
That
a
would be-
private jet. Damn, let me look at that's a $95 million private jet. Who's on that thing? What the fuck?
If that was
Where
the
are they
case,
going?
why wouldn't the government, instead of the government coming out and do a press conference saying they don't know what the hell it is, why wouldn't they say, actually, those were planes. We fucking have that all tracked.
They have done that with a lot of them, but there's over 5,000 reports. I mean, how are you going to follow up with? It's just a waste
that's
of
one of
energy.
my dad's
they have-
favorite things to
they-
look up every time there's a plane, anytime there's a helicopter. He
Guilty.
is on it.
Guilty.
Well, after the first news media headline hit, I'm sure everybody went out there with their drones to go look
Right.
for these drones, and then there's an uptick again in more drones and more
Right.
sightings, and it's just going to be uptick until finally it looks like they said, let's stop covering this because it's either done, they either found what they were looking for and they're just not, or they're like, hey, we're getting way too much attention on
Mass
whatever
hysteria.
over top we're trying to do. Let's get it off the news because like there's no new news on this at all. It's all, if any station's running anything, it's old.
They psyop too hard.
Yeah,
Couldn't get their NDAA passed.
I mean, I just keep thinking back to like MK Ultra, like if that is even ended, and if whatever's in our food and water
it's something
supply,
different.
has been, just a product of whatever they figured out in the 60s and 70s through MK Ultra, and that we're all just being fucking dosed until we fucking panic hard enough to, say, just. Why don't you just take half my walls out, make them glass, and just put a live feed of my home, just live feed everybody, Big Brother the fuck out of us. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the scary. That's where my mind goes to the scary side of things. It's like, what if it's the government doing its whole thing of like, we don't know what the fuck's going on, but we're going to tell everyone it's just fine. We don't want anybody to panic, and it truly is something that they don't know what it is, and that's fucking.
That's
scary
just it,
to
though. That's
me.
what I was just asking Rolly. Like, what are we supposed to even do? He has a drone, but what is he supposed to do? Like, I don't even have a
He's
drone.
supposed to strap some TNT to that fucking drone, ran it into the fucking orb, and see what happens. What
I
do you mean?
apologize. I didn't know that came with the
Good.
handbook when you get a drone. My bad.
Yeah. You just have to sign a little additional waiver, and
If they're coming for war, they're not coming.
The
one
Acme
two at a time.
Studios.
Defend my airspace. Yeah, it's got Wile E. Coyote right on it.
If they're coming for war, they're not coming one or two at a time. And as civilians, I don't think there's much we can do. We can't just spray the air with shotguns. We're all going to shoot each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
We always spray
And
that.
hold on. By the way, let me just throw this out there for anyone thinking about doing that. It is a 20-year felony to shoot at a federally registered aircraft. Guess what? Drones
Not
are
your airspace,
federally
it's not.
registered aircrafts. You don't own the airspace, Russ, from the
I
blades
own
of
the
grass.
airspace above my house.
From
Talk
no, you
about-
do not. No, you
do.
do
Talk
not.
about
If
martial
you
law.
shoot a drone above your house, you could potentially go to jail, and nothing less. You're gonna get a $10,000 or $5,000
This is-
fine, like they
this is-
just handed out to two different guys.
Guess what? I'll
This
fight
is
it.
Red Dawn, though. This is
Good luck. It's the FAA, bro.
I'll be a movie star. I'll call the
Just
press.
like the guy that
Get
shot the
them all up
Walmart
in
one.
here.
And
Get the press
Yeah.
all up in here. We'll
yeah,
talk
I don't
about
know.
this
Good luck,
bullshit.
bro. I mean, I love you, but
You know, they remade Red Dawn, and they really should have remade Red Dawn in the modern day because that's
shotgun gun.
because in my mind, I'm thinking Red Dawn happens, they're coming in on parachutes, and we got a chance, right? We arm ourselves, we got a chance. If
Oh,
it's a swarm of drones, dude, how do you fight off a swarm of what if they're tiny? What if they're little itty bitty fuckers that
nanobots.
go up your nose and finger around your forehead and just rip up your brain? Like that
Yeah,
would
those are called nanobots. Those
Well,
exist,
that would be
dude.
terrible. I wouldn't like that.
nanobots, dude. Fuck.
I'd hope for rain, and that would like.
They come in on one drone comes in, and then all of a sudden 50 little nano drones.
If there's 50 little nano,
I read
drones,
a
I'll
book.
smash 'em.
Terrorizing your
I read a
dog.
book that was about how these drones came in and they were like alien drones from another planet, and everybody on Earth they'd been creating games that were like test pilot drone games that like you could play with like a keyboard or a controller or an actual like setup. And
Simulators.
by the time that the army needed the recruits, they basically just said, okay, everybody can tap in. You've already been training.
Yep.
And it was
I've thought so much about that over the last like 15 years, Emily. It's so funny. And they even made a movie about this. It's called like Gamer. I don't know, game something. I don't know, something like that.
Ender's
But
Game.
is it?
Is it?
That's a sci-fi book.
That's not the book that I read.
Orson Scott.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking of something else. But
There's a lot of
it-
dystopian books out there. Let's face it.
oh, they're so good. They're all so good. I love it. I love that kind of shit.
See the
Ender's
Black
Game, they
Mirror?
thought they were playing a game, but they were actually.
That was Black Mirror. There's a Black Mirror
Right.
like that.
Killing
These kids, they were like hired kids. Then they were like thinking that they were playing a video game, and they were actually like
Living life.
using drones, real life drones in war. Yeah. it's just-
Oh
The
yeah,
one that
yeah.
I'm talking about
I
is
didn't
called
know.
Armada by Ernest Klein.
Ooh.
Nice Armada.
Yeah, it's a really good read.
Yeah, bizarre stuff. Everybody, yeah, just panic, run around, throw your hands in the air.
Or smoke
Live
weed.
life to the fullest. Kiss and hug
Deal.
somebody that you love. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, these scares have been going my entire life. I was born at the very end of the Red Scare, so I was already there. You know what I mean? My entire life has been this shit. I was triggered from the fucking F-16s buzzing our fucking neighborhoods during Desert Storm, and then you know, it's just kind of like, I don't know, one false flag after another every now and then there's real deal stuff, and it's hard to like tell the difference between them now. Buy lots of toilet paper. Yeah, exactly.
It's a good commodity.
You know, you adapt. We adapt, man. That's the only thing. That like
I use the hose now.
you adapt.
I got a bidet. What's up?
Learn to save water. You know what I mean? Berkey water filter. Something simple. Little things like that. I mean, obviously, we're all in the age of it, but it might, you know, realistically, fatalistically, if we're sitting here being fatalist, it doesn't even have to be a government thing. It could be an asteroid, right? So, I mean, hey, we're all here for a short time.
I'm gonna be here for a
The
long
end is inevitable anyway, but that doesn't mean that, you know, we should disregard our you know, where we are right now. Let's all just be happy where we are.
That's terrifying to think that's an asteroid flying around. What the fuck kind of a magnetic field shit is that? Good lord.
Asteroids are pretty terrifying. There's some people who think that a lot of this is a way to like start containing civilization to preemptively prepare for an asteroid strike, but that's a whole nother late sesh topic, I suppose. I think that's
That's right.
like
You're gonna put up
extended
the
blue
giant
beam
for us,
thing.
man. He's gonna protect us from the asteroids.
Heavily obsessed with all these conspiracies. I love this shit.
Well, I don't think he was saying that the quote unquote drones were asteroids, but like
No.
a natural disaster could happen
Just
like an
natural
asteroid.
disaster.
where we're
Oh,
just
I
kind of
thought you were
put on
meaning
luck.
the lights we're seeing are asteroids.
I'm saying, like, if we're gonna be afraid of anything, there's a lot of stuff to be afraid about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's best to just live in the moment while we have them. You know,
Eyes open on what's going on though.
yeah, and that's the thing. Take the blinders off. A lot of you gotta take the blinders off, and
But don't let it like control your life too. You know what I mean? Like you got to have the balance. There's I actually haven't watched it yet, but I watched a good trailer and it got me really intrigued. It's a Norwegian, I think, film because it was not in English, so it's one of those ones that I'm gonna have to watch in subtitles or dubs, and I hate dubs, so I'm just gonna do the subtitle thing. But it's called La Palma, and it's on Netflix. And it's basically a series about natural disasters and how this like family's on a vacation and all of a sudden a volcano erupts and that leads to this massive like basically landslide into the ocean of all this rock on the side of the mountain that's the size of Manhattan, and that leads to a tsunami, and it's just like one thing after another. It's like, how do we get out of here?
sounds like was it like one of those B-list movies? Like it
Wait,
sounds,
what-
Sounds like
I mean, it's Norwegian, so yeah.
came out that one year, and like 4 like anaconda movies and like 4 alligator movies.
I think it just can't. It's like at the top of Netflix like right now. I just saw it last night. So
You're not using like a VPN or anything for it?
maybe
Disaster
no, I
movies.
think I just went down some weird algorithmic rabbit hole of Norwegian scary movies at one point, and now I get fed them. But
But it's not like a scary movie. It's like a natural disaster
Oh, it
movie.
sounds-
Disaster
scary,
movie.
but yeah, natural
Sounds-
disaster.
Or it could be tornadoes
It's not like
or
ghosts and
Oh.
stuff.
Think Twister,
the
like
new
that.
Twister.
Okay.
They remade Twister. What if they
Yeah, I didn't get through the whole thing yet, but
Doesn't sound
Yeah,
very,
real life shit.
doesn't sound
yeah,
yeah, real life shit. Stuff people are
Really?
actually doing.
dying to volcanoes and
running and not dying, surviving.
Fuck
Mr.
that.
that's another thing is you do have to just kind of those things are going on currently in the world.
Yeah.
So always be thankful also for where we are.
Yeah,
What
be
we
thankful.
have.
All you're gonna do is freeze to death, probably.
Yeah.
Shit, the truth comes out.
Yeah,
That is like-
let's think of what are our major threats if you go into Lake Michigan. Yeah, that you could get sucked down pretty easily, especially if you're not aware. But if you don't go in, you don't have it's a non-issue. So what else is there? Well, the weather comes to you. So if you're not
Yeah,
smart
I
going
woke
out
up to
in it.
-2 degrees this morning. I could not believe
Yeah.
that. I mean,
that ice wall on Lake Michigan comes inland, and it like wrecks people's homes. It's wild.
yeah.
That glacier moves across the lake. and
Talks to Superior about that, man. That thing just carves out the
ice
sides of
people's
the.
homes. Yeah, dude. Crazy stuff. But
My heater's working good here in Jackson though. so-
yeah. Super thankful for
Our good fortunes.
4 walls, a roof, running water, and all that stuff to while we have it. And for any, I guess, looming fears and threats, I don't know. It's whatever. I spend a lot of my time pondering all of this stuff.
Well, right now you got a lot to think about too, so that stuff is coming up. That's the kind of shit that new fathers to be think about. They do.
Yeah,
type of thing
Guys,
that
back
happens
me
in
here.
my reality.
yeah. You're gonna experience a change you didn't know you changed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And let me just tell you something. With the birth of my daughter, I didn't experience much anxiety or anything like that in my life. Okay. But for the first about 72 hours of my, firstborn's life, I never experienced that much anxiety because all you can think is, are they breathing? Are they breathing? Are they breathing? Are they
Yep.
breathing? And that's your sole goal for like the first few days. Just make sure they're breathing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm thinking we all have this like perception of our reality, the Matrix or whatever, is going on around us. And for me, shit seems to like, just always kind of like all the weird shit seems to happen at the right time or the wrong time or whatever is just always like, oh, that was a coincidence. Oh, that's ironic. That's, whatever. For me, it just so happens would be like everything's kind of like a movie where it's like we would have a kid right when World War III breaks out, or some crazy shit happens, like zombies or some shit are banging at the front door. You know what I mean?
Pandemic.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's,
First
not,
one in
let's
100
not go
years.
for
Well, let's just have
zombies
a kid.
now.
Well, zombies is the only thing left. I mean, shit, the bingo card's full at this point. We can officially pretty much check aliens off. I'm pretty sure it's well beyond, like, we're pretty much
Accepted it.
Oh, come on.
Almost.
We haven't had the
Almost.
rabid dog
like
through Michigan
like
yet.
there's a large percentage that thinks it's alien invasion, and then another large percentage that just thinks it's a fucking invasion of, like, you know, a Bush 2 playbook fucking thing. You know what I mean? But
It's mind blowing to me that there's people testifying that worked in the Alphabet company, we'll say, and are literally saying, "Oh yeah, we have even bodies. Yeah, we got that. Oh, we got ships. Yeah, we got them."
that's what I mean. Yeah.
What? And that's not news, huh?
Yeah, no, that's like they're like the UFO hearings that have been happening for the last like 3 years or something like that. They've been like,
Yeah, like that's old news. They're taking
well, they've been programming us for this event for the last, you know, since the 40s,
Yeah.
since War of the Worlds, since
They've been giving us just enough information to let our imaginations run wild, so when it
Orson
comes
Welles-
true, we're not
Orson Welles.
surprised.
That's it.
Orson Welles, dude. That was the first time they tried this on us. You know what I mean? And that actually sparked. That was a broadcast for Halloween, and people went fucking panic on that shit. People all over the country went in panic. Maybe it was just in New York. Somewhere people were panicking.
No, it was all over. Wherever the radio went, so did the panic.
Yeah, and that was like, I don't know, maybe that was the first psyop, so to speak, or it was a real deal.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know if it was the first, but it certainly wasn't the last. You guys, I have to say, if you've made it this far through this likely demonetized, even though we're not monetized show, or
Yeah,
delisted
this
show,
truly
or
for
blacklisted
sure.
or whatever, from all of us here at MBGS, Merry Christmas.
Officially
And
Thank you very much for having me, guys. I really
Of course,
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, hon.
Yeah,
Congratulations again.
Congrats,
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Keep growing.
and anybody got
Merry
anything
Christmas,
to say before we-
everybody.
There you go.
Keep growing,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas.
everybody. One name, Stephen Greer.